Today we are going to be talking about value and how you can create it with pencil. So we'll start off by showing how to create value with just a normal everyday pencil, and then I'll talk to you about drawing pencils and how you can get different varieties by getting specific pencils for drawing. All right, so with the normal pencil that would work in any way, you can create value by pressing harder or lighter or doing different layers. So oftentimes, artists will draw out a value scale. Okay, so you can divide it in how many sections you want. Okay, so I'm going to go from light to dark. So for this very first one, I could leave white because that could be my first value, my first shade. And then for this next one, I'm going to barely press lighter. I'm barely pressing down, so it's just one shade lighter. I'm not even doing another layer. That's it. I can blend it with my finger if I want to. And it goes from white to a little bit of light gray. Now for this next one, I'll go a little bit darker. I'm still pressing lightly, but just a little bit harder than what I did the first time. And it's a little bit darker. Now I'm going to press even darker. And it's getting darker. Now for this last one, I'm going to press as dark as I can. You can get these effects with any pencil. You can also go the other direction if you want to get even darker and do another layer even. You can layer it. You can press harder and change the value as you go. I want this one to be my darkest one, so I'm pressing down the hardest and doing the most layers for this one. And there we go. We've got a bunch of different values in a value scale. So that value scale was created by only using one pencil, normal pencil. So you can create different values with one pencil. But you also can get drawing pencils that will be labeled with H's and B's on them. The one that's in the middle is HB. H stands for how hard it is, and B stands for how black. So the more H, the harder it is, which means it's the lighter. The lead is really hard, and so it doesn't leave as much graphite down on the paper. But then it gets softer as it gets with more B's, and it makes it blacker because when the lead is softer, it leaves that graphite and lead on the paper more. So I'm going to do HB right here, and that's right smack dab in the middle. It's equal parts hard and black. Then if you move this direction with H, so there's no B in it, it's just the H, it's going to get a little bit lighter, slightly, because it's a little bit harder. Then here's 2H, so I'm increasing how hard it is, and this one will be a little bit lighter. And then 4H. Even lighter because it's harder, so it's going to be lighter. It's going to be easier for details too. So it's a subtle change, but it gets darker and darker as you get closer to the B. So now a B pencil will be a little bit darker than just HB. So this one's just B, this one's just H, this one's 2H, and this one's 4H. Then you can increase the B. So here's 2B, and it's getting darker. Here's 4B. And now I'm pressing the same pressure for these. And you can keep going. You can get all the way to 8B. So my lead is getting softer and softer. And so it's getting darker and darker. Or I can go all the way up to 8. It gets super dark. The darker the bees are, the more blendy and smudgy you can get. Look, I can put my finger here and just smudge it out and have this graphite spread as I draw. So you can use these drawing pencils to create a bunch of values when you're doing a pencil drawing. Here is a pencil drawing I did of a moose that I created by using drawing pencils. So what I did is I first blended the shading for the different shadows and highlights that the moose had. And then after I blended and I used my finger and smudged and really blended those shadows and highlights together, then I went back in with my pencils and made texture lines to make it look like the moose had fur. So you do a lot of different layers and you can get a lot of different details with these kinds of pencils.